Hi everyone, so I wasn't going to start this video here, but I'm at the beach so I might as well say hi. Before I start this video, I would obviously like to bring attention to the fact that a lot of horrible things are going on in the world, so if you have made it here, please take 15 seconds out of your day and go and sign a petition. I will link them down in my description to make it a bit easier for you to find. I will also link some books you should check out. Some I am looking forward to, and yeah, if you're here, please just take a minute to go and do something, to go and change someone's life, because Black Lives Matter haven't gone away. Just because they're not as prominent today as they were 2 weeks ago doesn't mean that they've stopped being an issue. So today is Monday. I have come down to the beach to see my friend long distance and it was lovely. We had lunch together, well, had lunch at a distance, and then spent like an hour writing Black Lives Matter using these stones on the beach. And I haven't been able to go to a protest, so I just wanted to do something, and it wasn't as big as it could be, but I just enjoy doing it. There's some shouty people over there. I've just filmed a video and I'm like 80% of the way through A Court of Thorns and Roses. I haven't finished the flat share, but I wrapped that up last week, and I'm actually really enjoying A Court of Thorns and Roses. I always hoped I would. You can really see my booth. I always hoped I would enjoy A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I'm glad I got it from the library first just to make sure, but I really enjoyed it. I knew it was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but like how it has happened has really surprised me, and has like surprised me in a good way. I'm like towards the end, so they know about the curse and things, and yeah, and she's just gonna save herself. I feel like some of the trials she's going through are reminiscent of what Cinderella does in the original story, but I don't know. I'm gonna finish it hopefully soon. I've got to walk home, and yeah, hopefully I will enjoy it. Hi everyone, it's now Thursday, which is not good considering I last checked in on Monday, and I only half-heartedly checked in basically because I liked my outfit, but then a load of youths walked past and I was frightened. I hate youths, they're so intimidating. I say that as if I'm not 22 still, but anyway. A load of kids walked past and I wasn't going to check in anyway, but yeah, like I said, I like my outfit and wanted to show it off more than the video that's going up on Saturday. So yeah, I have many things to say now because I didn't check in on Tuesday because it's kind of like a family day. Then Wednesday, yesterday, I was up at the yard, and when I'm up at the yard I can either fully embrace my mess or like not, and yesterday was a day where I couldn't apparently. So yeah, it's now Thursday. As I have said before, I have finished a couple of books. I have started a few more. So, I finished Sunday's vlog by saying, oh, I'll finish the flat share tonight, it'll be fine, but I didn't finish the flat share that night. I finished it, I think, Monday night, because I've been reading it on my Kindle, and so like I've just been reading it really in the evening and the morning. But I knew I'd like it because I've read it before and absolutely loved it. It's like a favourite book. It always makes me really happy. It's one of those books that you read and you like can't read with other people around you because you'll start smiling and laughing, and something happens towards the end that obviously I knew was going to happen because I've read it before, but it made me swear anyway because it made me really angry, and then I had to put it down because I was like, But I knew it would resolve itself, but it still made me like really annoyed. And then like the big romantic gesture at the end is really cute, and you can kind of see it like being in a movie. And then I think how it handles the like big problems in the book is really well done. And then how the other characters are more than just like side characters, they have as big a story as the main characters, and it's kind of like a romance that happens to be a romance. It's more like a book about these two people that happen to fall in love. Then Monday, did I finish it? I think it was Monday I finished it. but I finished A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas at some point at the start of the week. This was an audiobook, so it's harder to finish audiobooks, I find, because you have to like read them at a certain time. But I really enjoyed it. I always hoped I was going to like it, but I ended up liking it a lot more, because the reason why I was hesitant about it was because I knew the romance was going to be a big thing, but for some reason I thought it wasn't. Well, I have a friend who's read the Throne of Glass books, and she was saying that she really liked it until the romance kind of took over and ended up being like the main thing, and so she was like in the middle of battle and all she could think about was the fact that she like wanted to kiss someone. And I've read books like that before, and it's also really frustrated me, so I just assumed that this would like frustrate me in the same way. But then as I was reading it, I was like, I don't know why I thought that, because this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling that's like a romance in a weird Stockholm-y way kind of romance, but like it's still a romance. And so yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more because it was a focus on the romance, so I didn't mind the fact that the romance was a big thing. And then the trials towards the end were really fun, were really well done. They reminded me a bit of like Cinderella's trials, I feel like, in the original book. Was it Cinderella who had to pick the lentils out the ashes? I feel like a princess has had to do that. And yeah, I just thought it was really good. There were a lot of plot twists I kind of wasn't expecting, and I thought how the like curse was handled was really clever. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I am interested to see where the sequels go, to see the rest of the world kind of explored, because I really like the glimpses we get into the Spring Court and also like the other characters. But I mean, I think I enjoyed the world and the story more than the characters. But yeah, I'm really interested to read the sequels at some point. They're not like on my immediate TBR, but I mean, I rated it 4 stars, so I'll definitely be checking them out at some point. But also I feel like I'd be happy leaving it here. Like if it was just a one-off, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, I know that the love interest in this one isn't going to be the main love interest, because I'd never heard of him when he came. And I was like, who's this? Like, this isn't Reese. And then Reese turned up and I was like, okay, now it makes sense. And I also saw like a tweet about Sarah J Maas's protagonist never choose the first love interest, and I was like, okay. I had another point. Oh yeah, everyone growls. I was discussing this with a friend and we're like, how do you growl? Like, grrr. And this is meant to be really sexy. It's just like, grrr. So I assume it's not necessarily growling, and more like kind of a husky voice, which I also cannot do. Definitely cannot do sexily. And if they didn't just have growls, which I mean made sense for Tamlin, because Tamlin was able to shapeshift into a bear or a wolf or something. If they didn't growl, they all had sensuous lips, which I also don't know what that means, but they're all very horny and stuff, and it's just strange. So on to the other things I'm doing. I have carried on now, restarted, continued with the Song of the Shadows, so still only about halfway through, but I need to do some tidying today. Like, my room's a mess. That bit's always a mess, but my room's a mess, so I'm gonna put some headphones in, or maybe not, just listen to it and do some tidying and listen to that, and hopefully get past the bit where they stop talking to the women as if they're possessions, because I was not okay with that. And then, I mean, you still sometimes get it, but it's just there's a lot of like content warnings now. Well, not loads, but like some content warnings for like sexual assault and physical assault and rape and stuff, and it's just But what else? I got on loan, it was on hold from the library, It's Not About the Burqa, I think that's what it's called, and it's like a collection of essays by Muslim women about like feminism and just giving Muslim women a voice beyond their like burqa or the hijab, because when you hear about like Muslim women, it's always about them, it's never from them, and so that should be quite interesting. I read 20% of it last night, So hopefully I'll just kind of read it over the next few nights. I'm probably not going to include it for the readathon. I might like work out what prompts it would fit, but I haven't assigned it to one at the moment because I feel like I'm just reading it as like an informational source rather than a readathon book, because I feel like that kind of isn't exploiting, but I should be reading it for the sake of reading it rather than for the sake of like becoming a knight. What else? Also from my library I got the Devouring Grey by Christinne, Lynn, someone man. This is a book I have been aware of for a while because Sam read and finished it like really quickly not a few years ago, last year, and I got him the sequel recently and he was saying that he needed to like reread it because he couldn't remember exactly what happened, and I was like, oh, I really want to read it. I wonder if it's available from my library, and it is available from my library. So I might read it for the occult themes prompt to be a witch, because I do already have a book for it, but you can change your TBR around now, and I just really want to read it and enjoy it. I know it's going to have witchy themes, it's going to be quite dark. I think it has many bisexual characters. I mean, there was one character at the start, I can't remember the exact quote, but she was talking about finding someone attractive and I don't care if they're a man or woman. And I was like, it's just so cool. I love bisexual characters, which is a very weird thing to say, but I was just thinking about, like, whilst I was trying to fall asleep, I was thinking that I should do like a bisexual recommendation list and also a TBR video. I'm about 32% of the way through Devouring Grey, so like hopefully I'll read some more soon. And then I've also started on a Sunbeam, but that's a long graphic novel, so it's about 500 pages and I've read about 59 pages, so I'm probably like, I can't work that out, just over like 10% of the way through, probably like 11 or 12, and yeah, I haven't really read enough to comment on it, but might as well mention it here. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to read that. I think I might read that for one of the pirate prompts, so like dark cover featuring a journey. Could also be for a gladiator, which is to read something over 500 pages, or possibly even just 5-star prediction. I have lots of options. These books I'm reading, I have kind of options but not decisions. So yeah, just thought I'd check in, babble a bit about what I have and haven't done, and I will check in hopefully once I've finished a book, because I just have visions of not finishing any books because it's Thursday. I mean, I finished A Court of Thorns and Roses and The Flat Share, but I technically finished The Flat Share last week, which I didn't. Yeah, hopefully I will finish at least one book this week. I also forgot to say, on top of the tidying I'm going to do today, I'm hopefully also going to write up my next chapter. So at this point, so at this point I've done I've posted 2 chapters. I need to post the next one. I need to do that. I've posted 2 chapters of my own and now 2 Chronicler's Quest entries, and I just need to type up the next one. I find it easier though, because I just write up loads and don't type it up, to like do that voice to like text thing. So I'm gonna do that whilst no one else is in the house and I can just talk to myself. Come on. You stopping halfway? Look at that leg. Hi everyone, so it's now Friday. I wasn't going to check in because I haven't finished anything yet. Hopefully I will finish the Devouring Grey before this evening. I feel like I've only got an hour left of reading, so like I could just get on with it, but I need to finish that tidying. I didn't finish yesterday and didn't finish this morning because I keep getting distracted, but I did subtitle tomorrow's video and I was behind on that, so like I don't mind having done that. And then I was reading through some other stuff I'd written in the past, and it's a romance about someone in their 30s who is coming to terms with the fact that they're demisexual and possibly bisexual and falling in love, and it's kind of cute, and I was like smiling to myself. But anyway, that's not the point of this update. The point of this update was I'd started like listening to Sun of the Shadows again, and spoilers, Leoden just like had the baby, and she just had the baby, and then Sorka got read in to discuss who they thought the father was, and they didn't know it was the painted man, but they like, I think it's Johnny, who is John's son. And Sunday, it's like, just a sigh of relief, because my theory was that the painted man was the half brother of Sorka, and I'm not saying that's not the case, because I still have about 200 pages left and it could get twisty, but if it's not him, I will be immensely happy, because if it is Sorka's half brother, that means it's Leoden's uncle, and that's weird. But also, it's just the way they based it was weird, because they were like, oh yes, I think it's Johnny, because that's exactly how Johnny was born. It's not like giving birth is hereditary. Like, you aren't born in the same way as your father. But anyway, I just wanted to check in to say that I breathed a sigh of relief, but I don't think it's all over, because yeah, I think that would be too simple, and also a very weird conclusion to come to.
1, 2, 3. Good, super.
Was that nice? Hi everyone, you are slightly wonky, but I think this is as straight as this camera's gonna get, because it's just piled on top of stuff. But today is actually Monday, and I didn't check out yesterday because I was only about like 10% away from the end of all of my books at the end of yesterday, and so I thought it would be silly to like close the vlog there. I might as well just like start the next vlog a day late, but then I'm gonna start it today because I have finished another book today, but it was very quick. But anyway, so I think last time I checked in I had nearly finished the Devouring Grey, but I have now finished that. I finished that like Friday night / Saturday morning, and I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna rate it 3 stars because I thought the world was really like rich. I thought the characters were really interesting. I thought the characters that are meant to be good but aren't necessarily so good were really interesting, because it just shows that monsters aren't always not human. But I'm gonna rate it 3 stars because I just thought it concluded really quickly, and I did actually have to go back and be like, did I miss something? But it was really easy to read, quite fast paced, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I will probably steal the sequel of Sam at some point because I brought that. I can't believe how wonky this is. Once I'd finished the Devouring Grey, I started The Deep by Rivers Solomon. This is like a kind of mermaid book, but with a different kind of mermaid. So they're not like just their own creatures, they're born of humans, and they're born of the black slave women that were thrown off ships whilst they were pregnant, and then they give birth underwater to these, well, I can't remember what they're called, like Wajinru or something, and it sounds really it sounded really interesting when I first heard about it. I thought, I can't not pick this up. Yeah, so I picked it up, and it took longer to read than I thought it would, because it's only like 170 pages long, but it did take me like 3 days of dipping in and out of it to read it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really interesting concept. I thought what it explored was really interesting, and I thought it did it really effectively in the fact that it was only 170 pages long, and it told a really interesting story with like an interesting concept, because the whole of the race didn't remember the whole of the history. Obviously they couldn't write history and stuff, but they had this one nominated person who remembers the past for all of them, and then once a year they get to experience it, almost not like a film, but they get shown it, and then the historian takes the memories back. And I just thought it was really interesting. There's also like an LGBT romance, and yeah, it's just got some interesting rap, and I would really recommend you reading it if you wanted a short book. The next one I really got into was On a Sunbeam by Tillie Walden. This was a graphic novel about this crew that like go and restore old kind of, what's the word, buildings, I was going to say furniture, buildings in space, so like temples, and they restore them or clean them up so then people can live there or go and visit there. And one of the crew members is called Mia, and she went to school with this girl called Grace, and then Grace disappeared, and it's her kind of looking back over the relationship. And I didn't really, well, that's about all I knew before I went into it, that it was about this crew and there was an LGBT plus romance, but there was so much LGBT plus rep. Like everyone was in a non-straight relationship, really. Well, two of them were, one was non-binary, one character kept talking about her mums, and yeah, it was just kind of thrown in there in a way that was casual. It's not like, it's weird you're like in a relationship with someone of the same gender. It's just they happen to be in the same relationship, and that was as normal, or possibly even more so than being in a straight relationship. That person on their boat is really loud. They are in the water. There are so many people out in their kayaks. It's so warm. Everyone's out. You can probably also see my sunburn. I don't know. But yeah, there was representation everywhere, not just in the relationship but in the people, and I thought it was really, really well done, because it's like a 500 plus page graphic novel. I was like, this will be really quick, but actually, whilst it was quick, because obviously you weren't having to read 500 pages worth of words, you could stop and read all the pictures, and whilst I feel like I didn't stop and read all of them as much as I could have done, sometimes I just had to stop and like really appreciate it, and it just made me realise like how clever graphic novels are, because where a normal writer, you know what I mean, might spend hundreds of words like describing a scene or describing a character, the illustrator in a graphic novel will just put a picture of the landscape. Like there are a few pages where it's just like, here's one bit, here's one bit, here's one bit, and I just thought that was really clever because it still told the story, and also it's just really well done. It's really beautiful. The colours were dark but also really bright at the same time. You'd have to see like a picture to understand it, but I really liked it. I rated it 4 stars, and if you like things like The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, I think you'd really enjoy this. I know I'm certainly going to be recommending it to Sam because he loved those books, and probably another friend of mine who also just always wants more kind of LGBT plus representation but doesn't read a lot, so I think this would be like quite a good one. What was the last book? Oh yeah, I finished Son of the Shadows finally. Finished it this morning, and I enjoyed the second kind of half a lot more than I did the first half. The first half, obviously I had all the problems with how they were treating the women, and whilst it didn't go away, I think I realised my problem with it was mostly one character. Like, I mean, obviously the way the brothers treat the children and the women is quite problematic, but it was mostly one other guy, like one suitor, I think is the best way to describe him. And he just was really problematic, really patriarchal. Like, I can't remember all the quotes, but like certain things, and I had a discussion with Sam about it. Like one time he said, I want you to bear my children, not I want to have a family with you or I want us to have children together, but I want you to bear my children. Like, they're not yours, they are just mine, and you happen to be a vessel to carry them. And I think that was just the wording and the fact that I was already angry at the book that I found like a problem with that. But yeah, he was horrible, and a bit of a dick, well, a lot of a dick really. And yeah, I'm glad he wasn't in the like second half as much, but then when he was in it, he was being like particularly problematic, so I just didn't love him. I think when I checked in, I had undiscovered, that's not the right word, but like been proven wrong on a theory I had, and yeah, then something else happened that kind of added, well, it didn't add to that theory, but kind of went along the same lines. And I was kind of underwhelmed, but then it was explained a bit more and it made a bit more sense. And then I have like a theory for the third book, so I will read the third book. I might ask someone if they want to bloody read it with me, just to like motivate me to do it, or maybe if I read it now I'll be like psyched up to read it. But yeah, it was fine in the second half. I thought Leardon was a really interesting character. I'm writing like a review of it today. I probably should have written it by now, but I wanted to, I usually do my reviews on a Friday, but I've got something else going up on a Friday this week, so I wanted a review up on Monday, and then I hadn't finished this book and I wanted to review it. But yeah, I thought the second half was more interesting. I thought Leardon was a really interesting character because, like Sorka, like her mum, she took these feminine traits and made them powerful. So she wasn't sewing as much, but she was a healer, and she was just really powerful, and no one that was important to her was like, oh, but you're a woman. It was just the dick. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm rating it 2.5 stars because whilst I did enjoy, like I actually did enjoy this second half, like I wanted to keep reading to find out what was going to happen, and I wanted to pick up the actual book because I felt like that was going to make me read quicker, but I wasn't concentrating anyway. I thought I might as well read the audiobook. And yeah, it was alright, but I just, if I hadn't had the audiobook and if I hadn't been like determined to read it because I thought I'd like it, I may have DNF'd it at the start because it's such a long book, and for that to kind of carry on for so long, I was just a bit uncomfortable. But I'm going to check out here because I know this video is quite long. It's probably about half an hour long, which all my vlogs tend to be, and I suppose that's fine if I'm reading as many books as I am. But yeah, I'm going to check out now. I hope you enjoyed this video if you made it this far. I hope you're having a wonderful time if you're joining in. I hope you are near completion with your paths, and I will see you again soon. Bye!